another Doctor Who Classic Series action figure review. Today I am looking at the first in a few Classic Series reviews coming over the next week or so, featuring the latest box sets from Forbidden Planet and Underground Toys, the latest exclusives. And we're going to be starting off with the Enemies of the First Doctor box set, which I received on Thursday. Is it a good set? It is and it isn't. Mainly, the main thing that lets it down is the fact that we have a re-release of the 10th planet Cyberman. Although actually, it is slightly different. Let's begin with the Robo Man. So the Robo Man figure is a bit like the Count Scarlione Scaroth figure that came out a couple of months ago, in the sense that it uses the primeval body. Is it James Lester, I think, is the character, the guy in the suit, but it's just tweaked a few things. The new elements, of course, being the head and the shirt, but I'll go into that in just a second. The articulation is the standard. The head can sort of do a 360, but it's a bit stiff. Shoulders do 360, biceps do 360, articulation at the elbows, articulation at the waist, which can also do a 360. Hips go out and to the sides, 360 at the thigh, and knee articulation. And articulation at the wrists, which also do 360s. So, standard articulation on this figure. So, let's have a little look at the detailing on this toy. So, here we have the head, which is really nice. You can't really see it so well in this light, but he does have quite a solemn face. His eyelids are sort of drooped slightly, giving him this sort of almost zombie look to him. He's a bit brain dead. Maybe more so from the sides. But it is good. I'm not really sure if it is actually meant to resemble the chap that they've got on the packaging, the guy actually from the story. I don't think it is. I think it's just a random face that they've attributed, as opposed to actually being a particular one from the story. Although it could be, but if it is, I don't think the likeness is dead on. You've got the Robo Man helmet, which is really nice. As you can see, if I turn that around, lots of little bits and pieces, like the little dishes on the side. You can see all the wires hanging down, which are all just silver. And then again at the top, I suppose the problem is not knowing what it looked like outside of black and white. They just painted it silver. I expect these wires may have actually been different colours and things, but don't quote me on that. So yeah, the head's really good. Looks like the helmet's in the programme. Yeah, it's really cool. The body, like I said, is Count Scarlione. It's Scaroth. You can tell that it's actually Scaroth's jacket by the fact that it has the same pocket with the handkerchief poking out of the top. Now, normally I sort of say, oh, well, you know, if you can reuse sculpts, fair enough. But that is a bit ridiculous. If I, obviously, you know, the guy in the story the Robo Men didn't have hankies popping out of their jackets. You know, I'd have thought that character options could have at least removed the handkerchief. Or, rather than painting it the same colour of the jacket, painted it a different colour. That would have made it look it would have looked better than just having this handkerchief be the exact same colour as his jacket, which is a bit silly because it's all trying to disguise it as all one thing, and it hasn't really worked. The shirt piece is new, as you can see. It's just like another piece of rubber underneath. It's got like the shirt hanging out at the bottom, which is a nice touch. It shows he's dishevelled. The Dalek text on the shirt is actually raised. I thought it was just painted on, but it actually is raised, so the silver paint is painted on top of that. And then it's all just the same. I mean, the hand here has Count Scarleone's ring, but without the green. So it really is just Scaroth's body with a new head and a new shirt. But actually, it is a nice figure. It is good. It does work as a Robo Man. If you do sort of look past the ring and the handkerchief, it's mainly the handkerchief, if anything. But it is good. I like it more than I thought I was going to. When I saw it, I thought, oh, how cool, a Robo Man. And then I was like, will I really like this? But actually, it is a good figure. I would have liked it to have come with like a whip or something like they have in the story, but unfortunately it doesn't. This is it for the figure. But overall, it's really nice. It's a good toy. The next figure I shall look at is the Flamethrower Dalek from the Dalek Master Plan. It's your standard 60s Dalek. It actually is the first entirely silver Dalek to have the slats. We've had the Evil of the Daleks version, the Emperor Dalek's Guard, but this is the first full silver version from the 60s that were introduced from the chase up until Evil of the Daleks. So it's the same Dead Planet body, but now it has the silver mesh. Articulation, we all know what the articulation is on these Daleks. 360 head, eye moves up and down. These are ball jointed, and that's ball jointed, so, not really much to say, and is on 3 wheels. There are some changes, of course, other than the mesh to the Dead Planet body. They've actually painted the dome lights orange, as these Daleks did have. They weren't the sort of the ball dome lights, as I call them. They're actually the egg cup ones. I think that's what they're generally referred to. They're more cylindrical, as opposed to being the ball-shaped ones that they've actually used here. But they've painted them orange, so it's not too bad. I'm not going to criticise them for that. One issue that there has been, that a lot of people have pointed out and have been disappointed with, is the number of rings on the eye stalk. They keep using the Dead Planet Dalek's eye stalk from the collector's set, which has the most rings on the eye. Technically speaking, from the chase, they don't have that many rings on the eye. They should just have the normal 5, I think. Which is a shame that they haven't done that. It's a shame that they just used that one, because the eye stalk does exist. They used it on the Evil of the Daleks version, so I'm not quite sure why they actually did that, but they have, so that's a shame. But it does look very nice anyhow. It does look like a nice Dalek. These silver and blue ones are my favourite, so it is cool to finally have one like this. So the Flamethrower, which is obviously the main focus of this type of Dalek. Here we are. When mine came, the Flamethrower was actually bent all the way around. It is a lot better than what it is, so I do keep sort of bending it back. The flame does come out, and that's just a clear piece of orange. Don't know if you can really see it in this light. It just looks like one big colour, but it actually does get lighter towards the tip. And then this is just the Flamethrower minus the flame, and it's just a large hole, and that just plugs into it like that. So you can have the Dalek, and then go and have them burning down the forests of Kemble. But it's a nice figure. It's a good figure. I do like this type of Dalek. Like I said, I do like this colour scheme. They are my favourite, and the Flamethrower is nice, and I'm very glad that the flame is actually removable. That would have been a bit disappointing if it was just stuck in there. But it does look a bit crappy without the flame, so it will be displayed with the flame ignited. So that's the Dalek Master Plan Flamethrower Dalek. Very nice. And finally, we have the 10th Planet Cyberman, which is of course a re-release of the figure from the Age of Steel or Men of Steel mini wave that was released a few Christmases ago, or sort of after New Year. Now, obviously, I really do like these Cybermen. These are one of my favourite versions of the Cyberman. But I didn't really want to see it released again, because I already have 3. To see it released again, when I thought, well, surely... I was really hoping that they'd release a new figure for this First Doctor box set. I really wanted them to release more monsters. I mean, all we've had in this box set so far are Dalek-related figures. Again, where are our Monoids? Where are the Zarbi? Where are the Monoptera? How's Ququillian, for instance? Where's the Sensorites? You know, why don't we have these? Why haven't they made these? Now, I'm sure that this is just to keep costs down, but for £35 is a bit crap that you're getting another Cyberman, especially when the Cyberman figure has already done the rounds quite a lot, because it was released in that mini wave, that Cyberman wave, and then they released it again in those Tesco box sets. So it is exactly the same articulation-wise, so if you're interested in this figure, check out my review of the 10th Planet Cyberman from a couple of years ago. There is a few differences with the paint applications, namely the mask is darker. It's a lot darker, in fact. And inside the chest unit, the lights have actually been painted with grey paint. I'm not sure if that's to show that they've been lit up. I'm not sure. I think I actually said in my review of this figure as it came out, it would have been nice if these were painted white or something to make it look like they were lit up. And I think that's possibly what they were trying to do. It hasn't really worked. It just looks like grey dots on the end, as opposed to lit up lights. But, you know, that's really all there is to say on this figure. It's still a good figure, regardless of it being a re-release. I mean, I really do like the 10th Planet Cybermen. They are one of the best designs of the Cybermen. They are very creepy. They're better than those new series rubbish ones. I mean, if the 10th Planet Cyberman... I mean, obviously, I've already said I would have rather it been a proper monster as opposed to a Cyberman again. But maybe if they'd have done something different with it, like having the removable gun, perhaps, or like not just having it loose, or when the polar... the men at the polar base, when they go out and find the Cybermen and they get killed, the Cybermen take their cloaks. What would have been cool is if they could have made sort of like a loose cloak, like the John Pertwee cloak on the Third Doctor figures, and that could like be hung over them, like from either like as the hood over the head or hood down. You know, something like that would have just maybe made me feel a bit more, oh, well, you know, that's more of a worthy variant as opposed to a slightly darker face and a bit of grey paint. It may be worth holding off on this one and maybe getting it later on, because I don't think it's a brilliant set. I think, really, for a set about the monsters of the First Doctor, it's a bit hard done by. Personally, I don't know why they didn't just go all out, get rid of the Cyberman, shove in another Dalek, and make it a Dalek Invasion of Earth Dalek. Then we could have just had like a Dalek box set for the First Doctor era, which would have made a lot more sense, and you'd have been getting a new figure which would have just been a repaint. So, but it would have still been new. It would have been an unreleased figure. So it is a bit disappointing that they didn't do that, perhaps. I mean, I really do hope that this is a sign of more First Doctor monsters coming out at some point, because the First Doctor has been a bit hard done by. I mean, at the moment, his shelf, if I just hoist you up over here, yes, I am filming the review in a new room. That is the First Doctor's shelf, minus those 3 figures. It is just Daleks and Cybermen and one mechanoid. So, thanks for watching this review. The next review will be of a second William Hartnell set, which is the Chase set, which is a really good set. And I shall explain why in my next review. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I shall see you then.